Okay, so this is the wiring diagram for our 2006 Pontiac Montana. So for our first connection here, we'll do the solenoid power and ground. So it's high side controlled, so it will feed power from the PCM to connector E, and then A is going to be our low side control, and then this should be on at all times since it's high side controlled. That's going to be giving ground to our solenoid. After that, we have our potentiometer here. So this is our signal wire coming out of C to the PCM, and that's going to be giving a 0.5 to 4.5 voltage range. Here's our VREF from the PCM going to connector D, and then our ground from connector B.
Okay, so now we're taking a look at the connector on our EGR valve. We've got our 5-wire connector here. Our colors are orange, gray, brown, tan, and gray. The orange and gray on this side are the wires for your EGR solenoid. The orange is the high side control, and the gray is the low side control. The brown is our reference wire for our position sensor, and then the tan and gray are the 5-volt reference wire. Gray is 5-volt reference, and tan is low reference for our potentiometer.
All right, so we're at our actuator, or EGR actuator solenoid. So right now we can either increase or decrease our EGR solenoid percentage. So I'm going to be assuming each value is about 10% of how much the EGR solenoid can go. So our EGR solenoid over here, and we'll start increasing it, and you can hopefully hear the engine start bogging down. So we'll do increase to 10. 20 and 30. You can really hear it now. Okay. And then, so that's 30. We'll do 40. See if we can kill it. Maybe. 50. Really not happy with the EGR for my lap. So, ready?
So now we're hooked up into the one of the terminals for the EGR solenoid. Is it the orange wire?
Power. So
the orange wire power.
PCM. So we're going to jump it from the battery.
Yep. So we're hooked up to the battery, and he's going to jump
tap the needle, and then. Okay, so it dies.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the same test, but we're gonna bring the revs up to around 2,000, 2,500 RPM, and we're gonna watch and see how the PID reacts and how the motor reacts. You can see the PID gets commanded on to 100%, but the motor doesn't die.
So here's a brief description on all data of how our PCV valve works. So it's not a fixed orifice. It has this pintle and spring that moves forward as vacuum increases. So not running, you have zero vacuum, and that pintle will be pulled all the way back to the valve and not let any air go through it. And then once you are under idling or even normal operation, that pintle, once you're idling, that's going to be all the way closed and not let any air go through the PCV. And then under normal operation, it will allow just a little bit of air with those kind of small amount of arrows you'll see. And then at high acceleration, it goes all the way back and then only lets a small amount of air go through there. All right, so we have moved to the Hyundai Tucson. This is our EGR valve. Just pulled it out of the valve cover housing right here. And if you give it a little shake, you can hear it. And so you can see that's that little valve in there. That's what moves forward and backwards and allows crank ventilation air to go back into the intake, so it comes out of there and then into the intake manifold over there, and yeah, keeps the oil vapors out, or oil out, and oil vapors, yeah.